Hello everyone! Welcome to Young, Dumb, and Sober, the channel that's dedicated to going deep, living authentically, and of course, having fun. I'm Allie, the creator and host of YDS, and today I have a very special episode for you guys. And I'm sure you're thinking, but Allie, all of your episodes are so special to us, and you wouldn't be wrong. But this one is particularly special because it's being made in collaboration with Mountainside, an amazing treatment center that I actually had the pleasure of speaking at earlier this year for the Famhouse Unaltered Creativity panel. So the universe did its thing as usual and reconnected me with the folks at Mountainside to work together again. And so here we are. Today's video is going to be all about finding your true self in recovery, or sobriety, whatever you like to call it. As a lot of you might identify with, active addiction often forces us to be whoever we need to be to maintain that lifestyle, even if it's someone we're not necessarily proud of. In recovery, we get the freedom to be reintroduced to our most authentic selves, the person who was there all along, but maybe couldn't quite shine through while being surrounded by all that darkness. Before we move on to the video, I'd like to invite you to join me in spreading the message that sobriety can be and is fun by subscribing to this channel and slapping that bell so you get notifications every time I upload new content. Okay, let's do this. Here are the 5 ways sobriety can help you discover your true self. 1. Sobriety gives you an opportunity to remove toxic relationships and people from your life. Let's face it, active addiction can bring us to places we don't belong with people we don't necessarily want to be spending our time with. When so much of your life is spent using drugs and alcohol or cleaning up the messes that you've created from using drugs and alcohol, don't at me. It's very easy to get caught up in relationships that aren't serving your highest purpose or your highest self. No, not that kind of high. I mean like the spiritual kind, the best version of you and your life, if you will. The old saying goes that you are the sum of the 5 people that you hang out with the most. I hate math no matter what, but when I think back to my using and my drinking days, I really don't like the odds of that equation. And it wasn't until I got sober that I was actually able to recognize that some of the people and the relationships in my life were not only causing me harm, but they were also contributing to my addiction by inspiring a lot of the negative emotions that I used over. Number 2, sobriety frees up your time, allowing you to spend your days doing things that are actually enjoyable and meaningful to you. I don't know about you, but when I was in the thick of my substance abuse, it was a full-time job, or at the very least, a really crappy, degrading, and soul-sucking part-time job. But despite the slew of negative consequences that came my way, I kept showing up every day. You might have even called me an essential worker to my addiction.
Oh, would you just look at me? Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. I'm essential.
The point here is that I had no time to do anything else that I enjoyed. Heck, I didn't even have time to figure out what it was that I did enjoy. Any free time I had was spent thinking about when I was going to get the next one, getting the next one, or trying to recover from the last one. So after getting sober, I had a lot of time on my hands. And at first, I didn't really know what to do with it. But after a little while, I realized that I loved getting lost in a good book, spending time outside in nature, cooking, and making YouTube videos. 3. Sobriety offers you the opportunity to get back in touch with your body. Another one of the several dozen hobbies that I picked up in sobriety was yoga. After spending over a decade of escaping my body and my mind with chemicals, yoga allowed me to finally get back in touch with my physical being. There's plenty of resources out there from industry professionals in psychology, holistic healing, and addiction recovery that suggest we store our pain and our trauma in our bodies. And when you're constantly sledgehammering that pain or trauma with drugs and alcohol, it kind of makes sense that you disconnect from yourself even more. Getting sober gives us the opportunity to reintroduce ourselves to our one real true home, our body. 4, sobriety gives you mental clarity so you can assess what your true beliefs and values are. After spending an extended amount of time in the vicious cycle of addiction, It's very common for us to lose sight of what our innermost values and beliefs are. So many of our actions have been driven by our desire to use and drink that we actually can end up misunderstanding what's important to us. When I was active, I often found myself acting in very selfish and manipulative ways. I was constantly harming the people around me. And after doing that for so long, I had kind of internalized the idea that that's who I was. I developed this belief that I was only ever out for number one and that I didn't care about how I affected other people. Getting sober made me realize that those things could not be any further from the truth. It turned out that I highly valued relationships in my life, especially those with my family members and friends who had supported me all along. I was just never able to access that core value because I was too busy believing that my actions in addiction were a reflection of my true character. Number 5, sobriety allows you to live authentically. Being under the influence of something immediately changes us in one way or another. It often lowers our inhibitions and, as I mentioned earlier, causes us to act out in ways that are contradictory to who we really are. In short, drugs and alcohol have the potential to make you live from a place of inauthenticity. But by getting sober, we open up the doorway to a life where we're able to live from the deepest, most authentic part of ourselves, from our soul. And of course, that doesn't happen overnight. It takes commitment and work. But now, as of last week, I'm over 3 years sober, and I can assure you that it is 100% worth it. Okay, everyone, thank you so much for watching. If you're still here, you might as well subscribe to Young, Dumb, and Sober, like this video, and share it with someone you think that might get use out of it. Head over to the Mountainside website. You can find the link for that in the description of this video. That way you can find out more about all of the amazing things they're doing for people in the recovery community. And while you're there, you can connect with Mountainside on all their social accounts, as well as sign up for their weekly newsletter, The Hub. Then you can stay updated about all of the awesome upcoming events, plus much more. And speaking of events, if you're free on Wednesday the 20th at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I would love for you to join me at the Mountainside Young People's Recovery Meeting, where I will be the guest speaker. You can find the link for that also in the description of this video. I'm super excited about it and hope that I see you guys there. As always, it's been real, it's been fun, and it's been real fun. Bye guys. See you next time.